Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be why you shouldn't take her back. I've got an email here from a viewer, and this particular guy I ended up doing a phone session with just in the past week. This email that we're going to go through is one that he sent me a couple of weeks ago, and where he did paid email coaching. And then so when we get to the end, I can talk up, throughout the email, I can talk about some of the things that we discussed in his phone session, because I got a little bit better, obviously much better handle on what's really going on with this woman, because we did a whole hour-long phone session. So I got a quote that I wrote in this topic, and then we're going to go through his email. And the quote says, "How does a guy know if he's with the right woman for him? The right woman will be supportive of his hobbies, interests, goals, and most importantly, his mission and purpose in life. Your woman should be your biggest cheerleader and advocate for what you do. A good woman will be proud of you, who you are, and what you do. She will encourage you to go for what you really want and take the necessary risks to achieve your goals and become all that you are capable of becoming. She will relish in your success and only want you to do things that make you happy. If you ever start to date or are dating a woman who tries to change you or who tries to get you to give up all of your dreams and everything that is important to you, instead give her up and get her out of your life ASAP. Otherwise, you'll only make yourself miserable. She'll continue to be miserable, and you will spend your life living a life that is less than what you are capable of living." So he says, "Hey Corey, here's my living situation. I think it has two main issues that could help others as well. I'm a 39-year-old mental health counselor and a stand-up comedian. I read your book 6 times. I have a huge heart, and I'm a very honest and loyal guy." He's very honest, very loyal. He places a massive level of importance on being loyal. Therefore, the perfect woman for him is somebody who values loyalty the same level above all else. He says, "I started dating a girl in March of 2012. Beautiful, valedictorian, law degree, nursing degree, great family, and initially very supportive. She seemed amazing. There was only one problem. She has herpes type 2. She was honest and told me on our first date. She swore if I gave her a chance, she would prove she would be the girl of my dreams. I thought, okay, if this is a girl I could see myself marrying, I will risk it. And apparently she's really attractive." So the average guy hears that. I had a really good friend of mine when we were in our 20s. And he always was really good with women. He was one of those guys that was really good with women, but he couldn't really explain what to do other than just be a dick. And he was dating this girl. She's fucking beautiful. Gorgeous girl. Dark hair. I think she had blue eyes, if I remember right. Great fucking body. Just beautiful. And she was cool as hell. First time she ever had sex, when she was 16 years old, she got herpes from her boyfriend, because apparently he wasn't wearing a raincoat and had been screwing around. And my buddy, he always, even when he was drinking, he always wore a condom with her. Even when she didn't have her breakouts, he always wore a condom. And I remember talking to him one time, he's like, "I love her and she's amazing, but I don't want that fucking shit." He's like, "So I'm always going to wear a condom with her." And he never got to the point where, like this particular guy, he'd be fooling around with her and they get real horny or whatever, and then maybe they had a couple drinks in them, and he would sleep with her unprotected. And it's like, man, you're just rolling a dice doing that. But like my buddy, I was sharing the story with him, is like he just wouldn't, it didn't matter how hot this girlfriend was, because deep down he knew that if it didn't work out, it would hurt and it would suck that they broke up. And eventually they did anyways. I think they stayed together 4 or 5 years. But his attitude was, I don't want to get the gift that keeps on giving. He said, I want to get married someday or have kids, or I don't want to have to deal with this shit. So unless we're going to get married and have a family, why risk it? He says, "We took things slow and our actions matched her words. My mom was diagnosed with cancer several months later. She came to doctor appointments with me and my mom, and who had a very rare aggressive cancer. We got engaged at Christmas in December 2012 and talked about having kids since we were 34 and 38. Then she got pregnant the next month. During this time, my mom was going through chemo, and I was my mom's own family. I spent my evenings between going to her house because she was pregnant and my mom's house to help her. As soon as she got pregnant, she changed. She was moody, angry, hurtful, and manipulative. Well, obviously the hormones are changing there. But the same token doesn't mean you sit there and you fucking tolerate abuse. You gotta say, baby, I love you, but I don't like the way you're talking to me. That's not cool. You need to talk to me in a loving, supportive way. I understand you're pregnant, you're a little grouchy, but this ain't right. She told me I was fat, but I'm 5'8", 165 pounds, and I'm the same weight that I always was when we met. She said I was immature because I have a huge Star Wars collection and I need to get rid of my collection, quit doing my radio show and comedy open mic that I host, and get rid of my 2 large fish tanks because she didn't like them. So now she wants you to completely jump through your butt and get rid of all your hobbies and things that are fascinating and interesting to you, and they're important. And my response to that is absolutely no fucking way. Don't ask me to give up those things. I'm not giving them up. I'll give you up before I'll give up my Star Wars collection. He says, I was hoping it was hormones. She didn't want to have sex and said I needed to wait until she had the baby 3 months in. Well, obviously at this point, she just wasn't that into you. She'd fallen out of love with you. He says, I'll admit, part of his problem after talking to me, yeah, he's a nice guy. He basically became a doormat and let her walk all over him. So she lost respect for him. And one of the ways she tried to intimidate him was getting him to give up everything that was important to him. But luckily, he didn't. He kept the things that were important to him. So I definitely commend him for that. Because a lot of guys would not do that. They give up their fish tanks. They give up their comedy nights. They give up their job or their mission. They give up their Star Wars collection. All in an effort to please the missus, hoping that they can keep her around. And she still leaves them anyways. Now they don't have the girl and they don't have their Star Wars collection. He says, I admit I acted too nice and like a bitch because instead of putting my foot down, she got out of control. Mind you, my mom was terminally ill, and I started getting bad anxiety and would say it was a sign, and I would say it was a sign of weakness. She started texting one of her exes and said they are just friends, but I knew something was up. I could just feel it. She's lining up her replacement. She wasn't happy with you. You weren't meeting her needs. You gave her the baby that she wanted, and now she's looking for somebody that's going to act like a man and stand up to her. She broke up with me a few months later, and we would be on and off again, her choice to be off. When we were off, one time I saw she sent an inappropriate text to him. I confronted her, and she apologized. Many times I think she just wanted a child. When she gets angry, she says very mean things, for example. I only gave you a chance because I had herpes. That's nice. Thanks, baby. I really appreciate that. You're sweet. You're a peach. Thanks, baby. Love it. I love how you build me up. I love how you make me feel like the most amazing man I can accomplish anything. You know, with a girl like you at his side, a guy, you definitely can reach his full potential with your insults. They're fucking great. Thank you. May I have another? Our son was born last September, and he's 15 months now. We broke up in June, and I said I wanted to work it out, but she says we aren't compatible. I've dated 8 girls, hooked up with 3, 2 of them on the first date, but I still love her. I know she's now dating that ex. I wouldn't say who, but I went by and saw her car in his driveway. It pisses me off because I was trying to work it out, and I feel like she was just waiting to see if he would give her another chance, as he dumped her 6 years ago. You're the backup, dude. Remember, you place, and I told him this in the phone session, you place a really high value on loyalty, and she doesn't. Look how she reacted. If she's happy, she's into you. I mean, she's got herpes after all. But the moment her needs aren't being met, she's fucking texting an ex from 6 years ago who dumped her on top of that. How pathetic does that make her look? And what I told him is like, she's really just fuck buddy material. I was like, it's your life, you can do what you want, but I would just, someone like this, I would always practice safe sex because she's obviously sleeping with other dudes and she's not being honest about things. He says, I don't ever text her first. When I have our son, she constantly texts me. She's very nice to me as a co-parent and seems to want a great friendship. She wants me at family functions and holidays, and I don't have any family here since my mom died. Honestly, we get along really well most of the time, so I don't understand why she doesn't want it. He says, this past Sunday when I was dropping off our son, she sat next to me on the floor, asked what we did over the weekend, and asked me to go on a walk with our son, and at one point almost got nose to nose and kind of a teasing stare down. So what he had mentioned was there are a couple things that have happened over in the last few weeks since this email was written. One time she sat down on the couch and her knee was touching his. He's starting to become aware because he's reading the book. He's like, oh, I noticed that. But he didn't do anything about it. And another time he was giving their son a bath in the bathtub, and she came up behind him because obviously he was bent over and went, stuck her finger right in his butt crack. And then he just turned around and looked at it. He didn't know what to say. He didn't do anything with it. And I would have said, you know what? I think you need to get over with and kiss me. Or I would have taken my hand and slid it right down her pants and, just like putting the hot dog between the bun a little bit. It was like, hey, let me check your oil. I mean, have fun with it. It's like, you know what? If you're going to come and put your finger down my butt crack, you need to at least kiss me first before you take advantage of me. Something like that. That's what you take advantage of. If she's sitting next to you on the couch and her knee's touching yours, that's when you take your hand, you put it on the inside of her knee, and you say, bring your lips over here and kiss me. You look so desirable right now. That's when you make a move. But he didn't do that because he was kind of scared. Oh, what do I do? And so he's been acting indifferent. He gets all of his things arranged ahead of time. He's not doing any calling, texting, or pursuing in any way, shape, or form. And the other thing is her parents are actually living in her house. And so they're taking care of the baby. And so I said what you could have said when you left, because obviously, her parents are, you don't be, hooking up and her parents are like in the next room. So you could say, well, after you put little Johnny away, why don't you come by and have a glass of wine? You can come over and sit in my lap and we'll see what pops up. Something along those lines, and invite her over. Call me later. Something simple like that, because you're enticing her to reach out. And if she reaches out, I mean, I could tell she's starting his indifference and the humor and the playfulness and getting everything arranged ahead of time is starting to work for him. But so now she's starting to touch him physically and put herself in his orbit, but he hasn't been doing anything about it. And so that's what he needs to do. He needs to take advantage of these opportunities. But like I told him in our phone session, is that this woman is more suited to be a fuck buddy or have an open relationship with. Plus, she's got a disease. He says, however, I'm scared that if we got back together, I would get herpes, and then we would just break up again, and dating would become very difficult for me. Exactly. Also, how can I maintain no contact to build attraction with her if we have a child together? Is she just checking on him, or is she doing it for other reasons? Because he seems to think she texts a little bit more than normal when he has their son. And one of the things I said to him is, she's sending you a barrage of texts and they're really not things that are important. You just text her back this. Are you texting because you really want to know if I have enough diapers for little Johnny? Or are you texting me because you're hoping I invite you over so we can have a glass of wine? And you send something playful like that, because she's touching him and doing all these little things. It's like she's putting herself in his orbit, but she's kind of doing it in the down low. All he has to do is escalate things when she starts touching him like that. And then it becomes her idea. They hook up. She starts reaching out. He starts making dates with her again and allowing her to come back. I personally wouldn't want anything to do with a woman like this, but it's his life. It's his body. He can do what he wants. I just give him my opinion on how I would handle this situation. But it's up to him to make up his own fucking mind. I'm not here to tell you what to do or how to live your life. I'm here to teach you success strategies that will work to help you achieve your outcomes, to help you achieve your goals. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.